Good morning. In this video, I'm going to show you the most exciting AI tools for WordPress that I found in 2023. A couple of days ago, I spoke at the Human Made AI event, and this is a recording of my presentation. I'm also going to make 3 big AI predictions at the end, and also one lesson that I think we need to take from what's happening at the moment. All the links to the exciting tools you're about to see are in the description below. Let's get into it. This first one is actually a tool that's not WordPress based, and it's a tool called Relume. And what this is a wireframing tool. And essentially what this does is it lets you create a wireframe and then take that into Figma and Webflow. But when I show you this, I want you to imagine that this is actually being used in WordPress, because something like this is coming to a WordPress tool fairly soon. So in this example here, I've gone onto the site and I'm going to type into the prompt here, yoga studio in Cheltenham. My wife's a yoga teacher, and so she's going to build a new website. And then what this does is start to build you a sitemap dynamically through AI. So it takes your prompt over here. You can also put in the number of pages, and then you can see here it's actually going to start to generate my structure for me. And this is pretty cool. So it's going to create, this is the home page. Let me zoom in so you can see this. And it's going to create the sections within the home page here. But it's also going to create the subpages for me down here. You can see this. Now you can interrupt this at any point, and you can create other pages, and you can actually move these sections around. Let me pause this for you. You can move these sections around in here and delete sections. But essentially what we're doing here is creating the structure of the website. And let's run. You see this has got a blog as well, and it's actually creating the sort of blog post structure as well. This is just me playing around with it and moving some sections around. And so you can imagine this, if this was kind of embedded into your WordPress workflow, it'd be kind of phenomenal. Now, the other exciting thing that this does is create wireframes. So you've got 2 tabs, sitemap up here, which is the bit I've just done, and then wireframe. And then I'm going to click on wireframe, and it immediately creates me all my wireframes. Now, when I first saw this, I immediately thought of WordPress block patterns. It just seems like a perfect fit for WordPress, and block patterns is kind of ideal for it. And you can see it's actually taking the content and creating these lovely wireframes for me. And just imagine if you could then export this out to your WordPress site, or you had this in your WordPress dashboard, and you could go back and forth between this as you're managing the site. And it's kind of Figma-like in terms of you can zoom in and out of it, as you can see here. So that's called Relume. It's not integrated into WordPress, but it is coming to this ZipWP. ZipWP, which is the tool that Brainstorm Force are working on, which creates a website for you, a first draft of a website for you in about 60 seconds. They are integrating that site map functionality into ZipWP. It's not quite ready yet, but this is how ZipWP works. It's the same idea. You put in your prompt up here, and then, and in this example here, I'm actually taking words from a UNICEF website, and it's basically going to create me a website in about 60 seconds. So this is the prompt I'm popping in. And then from that, it's going to create me a website. And I'll explain a bit how this is actually doing this now. There we go. So they're building the website. And this is the resultant website. Now, they're not dynamically creating the design on here. What they're doing actually is they're taking Astra starter templates. So they've got a whole bunch, I think over 100 now, starter templates. And they're also using ChatGPT, and then they're kind of merging these things together to create you a first draft, fully editable first draft of a website, all built on Gutenberg and the block editor. So you can go and edit the stuff. And you can see here, they're also integrating plugins as well. So this is their shortcut donate plugin. But essentially for an end user, it gets them over that first hurdle of creating a website. And that's called ZipWP. It's having a huge amount of interest. They've got a big waiting list, but I think they're opening it up now to people so you can start to roll it out. Right, I want to talk about chatbots quickly. So chatbots have had enormous growth. This is one of the most popular ones for WordPress. This is called AI Engine. I've actually done a few videos in this on my YouTube channel. And currently there are about 40,000 downloads, and it's growing pretty quickly. They have an enormously popular and active Discord channel where people get into huge amounts of detail on how they're using this. But essentially, it's an easy way for non-technical people to add chatbots to their websites. Let me show you a few examples of how I've used it on my site and a few other examples. So this is one application that I used it for on my site. So I built some simple SEO tools for my customers so they can come to my website and they can create some stuff. So in this case, they're going to create an SEO calendar. So they just pop in their keyword in this little box here. Let me run this forward for you. Hit submit, and it's going to create a little SEO calendar for them. Now, the key to this stuff is creating the prompt in the background. And you can see here, here's my little SEO calendar, which they can then export out and use on their sites. Here's another example. This is I built this. These only take about 10 minutes to build. They're super quick. That's what's nice about this. This is actually one I built for musicians, guitarists, and what they can do here is come to this site, and you put in the artist and you put in the song. So I'm putting in Nirvana here. You can see this Smells Like Teen Spirit, and it will basically generate you all the chords and the lyrics for that song, just talking to ChatGPT in the background, and you can see it's putting the chords in the right places for me as well. And again, the key on this one is the prompt, but here's a quick look at the back end for you. And one of the nice things about this is it's just native WordPress. So it's just using the block editor to build this stuff out. You can see how I built this. I've just used blocks. So the cover block is the background image. And then within here, I've got the AI forms blocks. Again, I'm skipping over these very quickly, but it's really not technical to build. It only takes about 10 minutes to build one of these. And then the final example that I'm going to show you is another way of using this. And I think what's interesting about these is that you can actually create tools for your customers to use. So it's another way of adding value to your websites. This is a suggestion engine that I built. So if you're looking for a new book to read, then this might be useful. So in this example, you choose what book type you want to read, either fiction or non-fiction. So I think in this example, I've chosen fiction. And then you put in your favorite book, The Old Man and the Sea by Hemingway, in my case, and then hit submit, and it's going to suggest 5 books that you might like to read. Again, it's all just built using the block editor. We're also seeing other interesting chatbots emerge in the WordPress space. This is a really cool one. This is called DocSpot AI. This is primarily aimed at support documentation. So you can actually train it on your own support documentation. So if the idea is that you're going to massively reduce your support costs, and because people can go online and query your support information very easily and get sensible answers very, very quickly. So chatbots have been really, really interesting. We've also seen lots of activity around content generation in terms of writers. This is one of my favorite ones. This is actually one by Jetpack. And it's one of my favorite ones because of the way it integrates. Well, there's a number of reasons. One is it integrates directly into the block editor. So you're right within the block editor. You don't have to leave the editing experience. The second big reason why I really like this one is that you can either accept or edit the content that it generates. So you don't have to just accept it. You can go back and say, right, make it shorter, make it longer, change the tone of it, or reprompt it. And you can see up here in this demo, it's actually at the moment, until I accept it, it's just popping it into the AI assistant experimental block. It's only once I accept it that it actually turns itself into normal blocks, normal Gutenberg blocks. And so it's really cool. And it suits the way I create content. There you go. So I've accepted it now, and it turns itself into normal block editor blocks that you can do the normal block editor styles and all that kind of cool stuff. The other cool thing that they're starting to play with this one is, let me show you this if I can wind it forward, is this. They're starting to integrate directly into the blocks themselves. In this example, we're going to say the prompt is create a table of the last 10 winners of the English Premier League. And you'll see in a second, it'll actually create the table directly for me in here. Let's wind this forward. There you go. It's created the table. And that again is a block editor table. So I can do all my normal block editor table stuff. So you can see where this might go. You might say in the prompt, create me a hero image for a sale that's going on next Tuesday, and it'll create the whole block for you. So I think that's a really interesting plugin. There are many other ones out there as well. We're also seeing, as you've already heard, that AI is being integrated into some of the most popular SEO plugins. So Yoast SEO and Rank Master SEO are integrating AI directly in them. Right, I want to show you some cool stuff now that's not directly built into WordPress, but it's using third-party tools that you can use in WordPress. Here's a cool example. These are going to get a little bit freaky. So this one is a tool called 11 Labs. And what it does, you can upload your transcript to it of your blog post in this example. So I've started to use this on my site in this way, and it'll actually create an audio file that you can embed. And in this case, I've just used the audio block that comes with the block editor to embed it on my site. But it goes further. You can actually train it on your own voice. So rather than just having some generic voice speaking your text, you can actually train it on your voice. So I'm going to try and play my voice. I'm going to turn my microphone around so you can see this.
Design and user experience, UX, breadcrumbs are an indispensable tool. They have simplified and enhanced website navigation, creating a user-friendly environment that allows for seamless browsing.
So that's not me speaking, that's the AI speaking. I just uploaded a few samples of my voice and it now knows what I speak, so I can upload any document to it and generate content that sounds a bit like me. My children said it didn't sound like me. They said it sounded nicer and a bit posher than me, but I think that's when I was uploading my I was playing voice. Right, we've also seen, which you've probably seen, we've seen other really cool AI tools emerging, things like Midjourney, and also Adobe Firefly, and now in Adobe Photoshop, the beta, you have generative AI. Here's an example of a couple of ways you can use it, which you can also imagine hopefully how you might use this for, like, if you've got a WooCommerce store, you might want to manipulate your product shots so they look a bit nicer. There's lots of ways you might use this. This is in this example, what I'm going to do, I've got a photo of Matt on stage, and I'm going to expand the canvas and automatically fill in this area with AI, and it's going to look fairly seamless. Here we go, hopefully. There we go. So that's the new background. And then, if you want a different proportion of image, you can imagine that might be useful. And then I'm going to take this a little bit further. In this example here, you can see I've actually put a marquee around Matt's jacket, and I think he might look better in a leather jacket. So let's do that. The prompt is just add a leather jacket. And there we go. Matt's now got a leather jacket, and you can just carry on. You can carry on infilling and generating content in here. Midjourney now has in painting as well, where you can actually generate an image in a Midjourney, and you can then select an area and add other things into it. So this stuff is developing at quite a pace. Here's a fun example. This is the Mona Lisa, which took Da Vinci about 4 years to paint, I think. And I thought it might look nicer in a landscape. This is slightly sacrilegious, but what I'm going to do is just generate a new background for this, because I thought it might look nice in a landscape view. And there we go. There's the new Mona Lisa rather than a portrait format, now in a landscape format. And you can see over on the right here, it actually gives you 3 different variations that you can play with. A few other cool things to show you. So text in images is getting better. This has been rubbish in Midjourney, but now this is a tool called Ideogram, which I only discovered a couple of weeks ago, where you can actually upload, you can prompt it. So this is the prompt up here, a poster for a country music band called Shenanigans, and it'll actually put the text in the poster for you. Now, it's not perfect, but you can see it's getting there. We're getting to the point where we've got text and graphics, and it's almost usable. So I imagine that's not too far away. That's a cool thing. For any creators out there of you that are creating video content, then there are loads of tools emerging, some video ones, which I want to show you quickly now. This is one I use actually to take long form content and to turn it into short form clips that you can share on things like YouTube Shorts or TikTok or Twitter. And I've used this with, and I guess first, here's an example. I used this with my video with Matt. And this is just an example of it took a 45-minute interview, and it automatically generated me these captions. Let me just play this.
The question is, do you think that's going to get worse with AI or better?
I think there will be more disparity in terms of, like, there will be people or societies or.
So it automatically chops up the video for you. So in this one, I think I ended up with about 10 video clips, and automatically did all the captions for me as well. Also automatically gave me a summary of why it thought these were the right clips to choose as well. So that's another way that you can use cool tools to be more productive. Here's a really freaky one that I only discovered last night. This is kind of weird and cool. This is what this is going to do. I'm going to play this for you. It'll take your video clip, you upload your video to it, and it will automatically translate it for you into different languages. Let me just get to the right point. So I'm going to play this for you. So it's going to, I think in this demo I put together, I think I'm going to do Spanish, French, and Hindi. Let me know whether these are accurate. This is new. Let me play that.
WP 6.3 se lanzará el 7 de agosto de 2023. Aquí en 240 sec viene. Menu mobile différent du menu de bureau. Accédez à votre navigation principale ici si vous avez plusieurs menus. ये स्टाइल बुक बहुत शानदार है क्योंकि आप सभी ब्लॉग देख सकते हैं और व्यक्तिगत ब्लॉग के दाहिने ओर स्टाइल बदल सकते हैं.
So I mean, that's kind of mind blowing for me. You just upload your video and it automatically creates the translations. It does the lip syncing as well. I've got absolutely no idea how it works. We're also seeing the first steps of text to video. I've just got to do one thing here, text to video. So this is a tool called Runway, which you may have heard about. This will take a text prompt. So in this case, a big ocean wave at daybreak, cinematic film, moody, high resolution, and it'll actually create the video for you. So it's straight text to video. Now at the moment, these are, and here's the example. I mean, it's pretty amazing. It's all generated by AI, so it is amazing, but it's still not, in my view, quick enough to be properly usable in a video workflow. Here's just some other examples. These are all generated by text to prompt, and they're pretty mind-blowing. But you can see the direction of travel. We are going to have text to video fairly soon. And my daughter's about to go to film school on Saturday for 3 years, and I can only imagine that what her workflow is going to look like in 3 years. It's going to be extraordinary. We're also seeing that some page builders and some themes are starting to integrate AI directly in them. So Divi have announced it, Elementor. I've had a sneak peek of Cadence as well, which is looking cool. They're not quite, Cadence isn't quite ready yet, but it's going to be really interesting. And then, right, on to some predictions. So, oh, hold on, let me go back a bit. So here's 3 predictions for you based on the conversations I've had, the tools I've seen, and my understanding of WordPress. Prediction number 1, the AI battle is going to move upstream. And what I mean by that is going to move closer to where the customer first interacts with WordPress. And the first place a lot of the time that happens is with the hosting company. So I think we're going to see hosting companies have a relentless focus on AI. In fact, we're already seeing that. So yesterday I was installing a site. Let me go forward a bit. This is GoDaddy. So this is what happens now if you go onto WordPress managed hosting, and they actually are asking you questions at this point to kind of get you through the process more quickly. And it's saying, what kind of question do you want? What kind of website do you want? So in this case, I'm saying photography website, giving it a name, choose your data center, and then it's going to give you some templates essentially. And I'm choosing that one, and then choose your WordPress username. And within about 60 seconds, you've got a WordPress website built using Gutenberg again, the block editor. So I do think we're going to see a big battle in terms of AI moving upstream. That's definitely going to be really interesting to watch. GoDaddy have got that. Hosting AI have announced their own solution, and I know Shopify isn't WordPress, but they have integrated AI nicely into their solution as well. So I think a few things drop out from that, which is going to be interesting. I do think there's going to be a further commoditization of web design, no doubt. There's a risk there will be less discovery for WordPress plugin developers and theme developers, because actually a lot of the decisions are going to be made up here by AI or by the hosting companies. There's definitely going to be more power for hosting companies if they do this right, but we've got to assume they're going to do it right, but that's a tough thing to do because they're not product companies, they're hosting companies. I think I can't imagine that these solutions won't all be Gutenberg based. It just seems like an obvious thing that this is going to happen. So I think actually this is going to give Gutenberg an even bigger push. Then I think that the result of this, there will be less churn for newbies. I think this is going to lower the friction of getting WordPress sites up and running. I've been training people on WordPress for 10 years and I see the problems they have just in this bit. I think it's going to squash the learning curve. And I do think we're going to have some happier customers. So I actually think, some of this is scary, but I think it's going to be good for WordPress, this stuff, because it's going to lower the famous 5-minute install is going to get even easier. Right. Second big prediction, AI content becomes dynamic and intelligent. So I think we've gone through phase 1 of AI, which is lots of us are generating lots and lots of content using AI tools. That's great. And we're, publishing all that content, but it's just kind of static content at this point. I think the next interesting phase of AI and where it gets really exciting is it will become dynamic and intelligent. So what I mean by that is, imagine you've got this little AI tool that's just whirring away in the background on your website that can dynamically do stuff based on users' behavior. So it might be monitoring the health of your website, or it might be seeing what people are buying through your website and dynamically changing the content and personalizing the content to their behavior. So I think that's good. That's a really that's a really, 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 really interesting space. So I think we're going to see some people entering that. That's going to be super exciting. And then my final prediction is this, that authentic content and brand are going to become even more important, because the internet is going to be filled with AI content, and the companies and organizations and people that can create authentic content that's going to and build trust through that content is going to have enormous value. And I think trust is going to be one of the most important assets for any business over the next few years.
Thank you for watching. If I missed any AI tools out that I should have included, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know what you're using. If you enjoyed this video, if you can hit the like button now, it would be amazing, because it makes a huge difference to how many people actually see this video. And also, every time you do hit that like button, our cats get a little treat. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button and you'll be notified every time I release a new one. Keep well, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.